I'm in the process of removing the old mortar from the chimney stack, and I found so far that the best way to remove it is to use a cutting disc to cut to roughly the correct depth, which is 2 times the width of the gap between the bricks. And then I'm going through and raking out the rest with this, which is a tungsten encrusted steel rod attached to the angle grinder.
I hosed down the bricks to remove any residual dust and to ensure the bricks were nice and damp so that the new lime pointing wouldn't dry out too quickly.
So we've got 3 parts sand, 1 part natural hydraulic lime, some water, wet mixing bucket, and then a decent drill with, this is actually a paint panel I've got attached to here. I'll add a little bit to begin with and then incrementally add more.
The ideal consistency for pointing mortar is something similar to a snowball, sufficiently sticky that it will stick to itself and hold its shape and can be compressed into joints, but not so sticky that it will make a mess on the bricks surrounding the joint.
I found that the easiest way for me to do this is to get a bit of mortar on the end like that, which is roughly the thickness of the joint which it's going into, and then line up the edge of whatever surface you've got your mortar on and select something which is roughly the right depth, and then just push it in like that and give it a good push. What we want to make sure is that there aren't any gaps between the mortar which is being pushed in. So whilst I do that, I'm going to push it back on itself a bit like that, and off we go. And so repair another bit. Create a really nice thick bit there, and then just push chunks in like that, quite loosely initially, and then get the trowel and push it in as firm as possible. And I like to slope it that way rather than pushing it up like that. I like to pull it down, partly because it then pushes onto the supporting brick below, but partly because it will create a water runoff. If there are any voids or gaps, that will create a really nice barrier which water should run off from. And then continue the process like that. Fill any voids and leave it a little bit proud like that and quite rough, and then I'll come back and do a final pass. This is how I go about smoothing. I work from top down. I've done this row here, and so I'm working off the next. So I'll do the verticals first, and what I want to do is make sure that that vertical is flush with that horizontal, and make sure there's no lip for water to accumulate on. So I'll go along, that looks good, that looks good, like so. And then working along the horizontal below, so good, nice firm pressure to work through. This mortar is quite hard, so if there are any high spots which I can't just push down, I can use the back of the trowel here to just sort of grind it off and push it through. And similarly there, like that. When filling in narrow gaps like this, which are sometimes just a little bit narrower than the trowel I'm using, the best way I've found to fill it is to take what is quite a dry mix and work it like that. And then it should stick to the back of your trowel, like that.
When the mortar has hardened enough to allow you to mark it with a sharp object but not with a blunt object, then you can go over it with a coarse brush to remove any little bits and pieces which are sticking out. In the next episode, I'm going to be installing flashing around the chimney and then installing a corrugated galvanized steel roof.